What's up, everybody? My name is Godzi, and welcome back to another episode of Umineko When They Cry Answers Arc. Last episode, Claire told more of her story, explaining how basically Beatrice became the one that was in love with Battler, and how Shannon was no longer in love with Battler, which was interesting. I'm not sure exactly how that works in a sense in reality, but I guess I'm supposed to figure that out. Anyways, yay, I'm back from my college orientation. It was only 2 days, and this video is going up on Monday, so yeah, it was just because I wouldn't be able to record videos on Friday. But yeah, we're done with the pre-recorded stuff, so I can finally actually read your guys' comments, and there were a good number of them, and I wouldn't be able to remember all of them, so I just have my laptop here with my comments page open. So we're gonna be reading some of them, not all of them. Some of them I went over but missed aspects of. So the first one, and this is as far back as episode 46, there's one which was in addition to a comment I had already read about how the culprit's gender does have some importance. It says, George is an ex-incel who lusted after a 12-year-old at 17. Wouldn't be surprised if he didn't know what breast felt like. So, yeah, basically just means... Wait, wouldn't be surprised if he didn't. No, okay. So that basically means it's more than likely that George doesn't know what breasts feel like. However, an ex-incel, was that ever said, or is that like an accidental spoiler? I don't remember that much regarding George. It feels like everything George has done in Umineko is love Shannon, die, and then fight people. And by people, it's just Gap, and then Eva Beatrice. I don't think he's really done much else, but whatever. Then we have the comment that I did go over about, basically the theory of Shannon and Cannon being the same person, would require that the family is relatively stupid. I already went over that, saying that it really only applies to Kraus, Natsuhi, and Jessica, and I'm perfectly fine with assuming that those three are dumb enough to not be able to figure out that Shannon and Cannon are the same person, especially if Genji and Kumasawa are covering for them. However, it kind of goes into another popular Umineko theory with Rosa being the culprit in the replies. It says how the one person replied to this person saying, the only other popular theory boils down to, but what if Rosa is randomly sitting there and imagining being a 7-year-old maid who goes to school with her niece? That is a pretty weird theory. You could probably say that about anybody, honestly. But then it was replied to saying that that's not exactly how it is. But apparently there's a popular theory that Rosa is the culprit. However, it says, one person replied saying that the Rosa theory relies on a fake death drug that violates the Nox Decalogue. So that's something. I don't think it's Rosa. I used to think that Rosa's a possibility, but after all this time, I can't think of anybody other than Shannon or Cannon. I mean, I probably could, like, logically speaking, work out a theory with just any random number of people or accomplices. Other than, of course, Battler, Kraus, or Natsuhi, because those are the only people that we've gotten red truths for, I believe, that say that they are not the culprit. Unless you count Will at the very beginning of this chapter saying it's forbidden for a servant to be the culprit. Which, that's a Van Dyne one anyway, so that's irrelevant to Umineko. But even if Van Dyne did exist in Umineko, if Shannon and Cannon are also Beatrice, then that means that they are not a servant. Or you could do fucking wordplay and say, oh, they're not servants, they're furniture, so it doesn't matter. One other person replied saying, it's not really that big of a leap in logic that Shannon and Cannon could have easily fooled Kraus, Natsuhi, and Jessica. That was a long pause, sorry. But yeah, this reply was basically just my rationale saying it's reasonable to assume that Kraus, Natsuhi, and Jessica wouldn't be smart enough to figure it out, and the rest of the family just isn't on the island enough to figure it out. And then there was another reply that said it's certainly possible if Genji and Kumasawa were covering for her, which is another thing that I said. But the last reply to it says, Jessica isn't stupid, she knows how to play the electric guitar and can fake asthma attacks. That is true, she does know how to play guitar, and she can fake asthma attacks, but honestly, I'm not sure how relevant that is. Like, her faking asthma attacks was just to get attention. But then, something that they did say was that the story has gone to lengths to portray Shannon as being clumsy. That's true, but that's Shannon. I'm still unsure as to whether Shannon is a personality or a character. Like, if Shannon's a personality, then yeah, then that does make sense. If it's just a character that's being played, then that's pretty irrelevant, because that's just Shannon's character. The actual person playing her would never really do anything to make Kraus, Natsuhi, Jessica, or any of the family members realize, oh, that's canon, you know? There were, of course, more comments. Yeah, on episode 47. I probably mentioned at one point, given this comment, that I was wondering why specifically 1986? Why was that the year that the culprit started committing murders? And this comment says, that's the year Battler came back. Will said the crime didn't happen because Battler left, it happened because he came back. I knew that. I knew that it was because Battler came back. But I seem to remember Will saying something that if Battler came back a year earlier, or even a year later, the crime might have not happened. So, that is an oddity. In the same comment it says that it's interesting how, despite how Shannon says she understands how Battler feels, she grew up as an orphan, without any real familial connections, and doesn't know what it feels like for someone who's close to you to die. So she actually doesn't understand what Battler's going through because she has no ability to relate to him that way because she has no family. Especially if Cannon is also her, she has no real family. Even if Cannon is her younger brother, she's not really. Then another comment. The culprit's true form is pitiful according to him or her. That says a lot about the importance of the culprit's physical appearance and how he or she feels about it, and it adds a lot of misery and agony to the why as well. That does make sense if the culprit is, like, not comfortable in their own skin, but I'm still not sure how that plays into their gender. Like, unless the culprit is trans, so no matter what their gender is, they want to be the other one, so that makes them feel uncomfortable in their skin. Or maybe it's something completely different from that. I don't know. And in that same comment it says, also fuck George. What did George do? What's going on with George here? I don't know. Like, he inadvertently said some things that made Shannon upset, but I don't know. Here's a really interesting comment from the same person who mentioned how Cannon and Shannon being the same person, how that theory essentially makes it so that the family would have to be stupid. It says, in episode 2, so chapter 2, Jessica threw several cushions at Shannon, so if Shannon's boobs were actually fake, Jessica would have realized it as soon as the cushion hit her breast. And Jessica knows about breast physics because she has large breasts. I can't believe that breasts are a big talking point regarding the culprit. But I don't exactly remember that scene. I do remember what was going on. I think Shannon was talking to Jessica about love, and Jessica was just getting embarrassed, so she started throwing pillows. But Jessica was in, like, kind of a blind fury. So I don't really know how relevant that is either. Because I don't think it ever explicitly stated that any of the pillows hit Shannon's breasts, not to mention fake breasts just implies fake. It doesn't imply, like, that they don't have the same physics. Because they could just be, like, balloons or something rather than, like, Christmas ornaments or something. I don't know. But even if Jessica was paying stupid close attention for some reason and threw a pillow directly at her chest, it could still just react properly. I don't know how to word that. It's such a weird concept. But either way, I don't think that really proves anything. And then the last comment is, there's a big possibility that since Canon was a one-winged servant serving Kinzo directly, he might have had limited interactions with the rest of the family before Kinzo's death. That does make a lot of sense. So, even if Shannon and Canon being the same person does require that the family is relatively stupid, Canon could have not really been very familiar with the family, or very familiar to the family, until after Kinzo died. Which would mean it's been, what, this 1986 would be the second conference that anybody other than Kraus, Natsuhi, and Jessica has really known. So, yeah, and then there's another comment that says, can't wait until you reach the tea party. Oh boy, that must mean this tea party's good, but yeah, that's all the comments done. 12 episodes in. Minutes, sorry. Now I put my laptop there. Okay. So, yeah, those comments were all pretty interesting. I still think Shannon and Canon are the same person and that they're the culprit. So, yeah. Rosa, though, I definitely think it's possible to make a theory for her, but the problem is she dies super early in so many games. So yeah, it would require the, like, a fake death drug, though. Yeah, I don't think that's possible. Because Battler's the detective in the first 4 games. Erica didn't even notice anybody was like, we didn't even get confirmation, detective's authority or otherwise, in the 5th game until the end. So yeah, we know Rose's death was faked for a time in the 5th game, as well as in the 6th game, but Shannon and Canon weren't the culprit in the 6th game either, so it doesn't even matter there. But yeah, in the 1st game, Rosa died in the gardening shed, and Battler clearly saw her body, so she's dead. That's it. 2nd game, she survived until the very end. I think it's possible that she was an accomplice there, and maybe worked with Shannon, Canon, Genji, Kumasawa, and Nanjo. But yeah, I don't think she's the main culprit there. 3rd game, she died on the 2nd Twilight. Just done and done there. And that would mean that she did not have the ability to also kill George or Nanjo or Jessica at the very end. Well, of course, the bomb killed Jessica, but still. And then in the 4th game, that's a lot less set in stone, how the 4th game even went in the first place. But still, and then, of course, in the 5th game, I don't think it explicitly stated that everyone, like, all we know is Kraus, like, for sure, Kraus died before Hideyoshi. That's all we know about the 5th game in terms of the death order. Kraus died before Hideyoshi. He was the very first one to die. The other 5 on the first Twilight faked their deaths for a time, and were later killed, but we don't know if that was before or after Hideyoshi died. If it was before Hideyoshi died, then Rosa does not have the ability to kill Hideyoshi. If it's after Hideyoshi died, then sure. but that's very up in the air, and I don't think that would be the solution. But either way, let's continue with actually reading. Men in work clothes were spreading a tarp over a section of the hall. From the way they measured the wall and set out tools, it could be seen that they were planning some sort of construction project. And this is of the utmost importance to the master. Be sure that you do not damage it. Oh, they're putting up the painting, I see. The president of the construction company nodded his head several times to show that he understood. He's an accomplice. Then 6 young workers carried in a large rectangular object wrapped in a white sheet. Is the painting that big that it needs 6 people to carry it? Okay, careful there. Set her down gently. I said gently. Is this the spot? Great, let's get started. Apparently they were putting something large onto the wall of the hall. I wonder what. He plans to hang that thing there? That's what he wants. After all, this mansion is little more than one of Father's toys. Natsuhi took a deep breath. Though this was a whim of Kinzo's, a man she greatly respected, she seemed to resist the idea of hanging it right here in the entrance hall, the face of the mansion. Yep, and it is that painting, not one of the other random ones. When the white sheet was pulled off, a Western woman wearing a beautiful dress came into view. It was a massive portrait of a woman. Is it proceeding well? Yes, they will be finished by this evening. I would like to see it hanging there for all to see as soon as possible. I want you overseeing this, my friend. Leave it to me. Father, it seems a splendid portrait. Indeed, quite exceptional quality. I am satisfied. This is your benefactor, the woman who gave you the gold, right? Indeed. If I had not met Beatrice, I would not be here. Nor would the Ushiromiya family. Nor would, of course, this mansion. It's only natural that her portrait be displayed in the best possible location. Now that he had said it this bluntly, there would be no contradicting him. Krause and Natsuhi could only shrug. There was a second painting, right, in his study? Like a smaller version of it? Master, the epitaph plate is here. Would you please check to see that all is in order? Yeah, the epitaph doesn't exist if Leon does, right? I'm curious to see how this actually works. Indeed. Each and every word must be correct. Epitaph? Krause and Natsuhi crooked their heads and followed Kinzo. The leader of the workers set down a plate wrapped in a sheet. The others thought that the picture's name and description might be on it, but it seemed to have quite a lot of words for that. Father, what is this? Behold the Sweetfish River running through my hometown. Read and interpret it as you like. So, we finally reached the appearance of the epitaph in the portrait. I don't know much about this epitaph. It doesn't exist in my world. Okay, so I was remembering it right. Probably not. In your world, there's already a clear successor. You. Oh, that's why the epitaph exists. Okay, duh. But not in this world. In other words, this epitaph was set up to choose grandfather's successor after all. Most likely. Or he might have wanted to believe in the chance of a miracle. A difficult riddle, made so that no one would be able to solve it. I still haven't. If someone actually could solve it, they themselves would be a miracle. Perhaps that miracle would guide the person Kinzo most wanted to solve it. In short, this epitaph really does depict the ceremony to revive the witch Beatrice. Just as everyone thought, I think that was supposed to be Leon. That does seem to be the obvious interpretation. A mysterious ceremony, sacrificing 13 people to revive the witch. However, the true ceremony wasn't that. It lies in wait for someone to miraculously solve it. That is the true ceremony. However, fate does have its irony. Genji already knew. Maybe Kinzo set this up in the first place because he guessed that Genji knew everything. Was that fate a coincidence? Or something planned? I do not know. However, with this epitaph, which Beatrice will revive in the truest sense. How does Kinzo actually get to know Genji? Is that ever something we were gonna learn? Perhaps. Chapter 8, Journey to the Golden Land. We're very close to the end of the book. Let's see how this goes. Hello, Beatrice. You are a painting. Now you are there. This is Beatrice. My soul was captured by the woman shown in that massive portrait, and I realized I'm not doing well with my Beatrice voice today. I don't know why. That might have been literally true. Or rather than captured, perhaps it would be better to say that my soul had returned to a more fitting place. The place it belonged. The beautiful blonde hair was the same as mine, but tied up. The dress she wore was a deep black, making that golden hair stand out all the more. This is the witch, Beatrice. My true form. Question mark? What is this? There was a plate with too many words for it to be the title of the picture. Behold the Sweetfish River running through my beloved hometown. You who seek the Golden Land, follow its path downstream in search of the key. I'm still not sure what that means. The Golden Land? I see. So my world is the Golden Land. I have always called my own personal world a paradise. But tonight I shall change that. From now on, my world shall be the Golden Land. I am the master of the Golden Land, Beatrice. And then there is the brutal ceremony of sacrifices, starting on the first twilight. On the 9th twilight, the witch shall revive, and none shall be left alive. If I carry out this ceremony, will I revive in the truest sense? Then on the 10th twilight, at journey's end, you shall attain to the power of the Golden Land's treasures, once and for the last time. The witch shall praise the wise and bestow 4 treasures. One shall be all the gold from the Golden Land. Kinzo received a massive amount of gold from Beatrice, and rumor has it that it still lies hidden somewhere. Is this, as the family members and servants are all whispering, a code showing the location of Kinzo's hidden gold? If a human solves it, they will obtain a great quantity of gold. However, if I do, it will mean my own resurrection. Kinzo, you aging magician. Just when I was mocking the shortness of the time left to you, you start a game like this. How interesting. I'll definitely solve it. Then I will revive as the real Beatrice. When that happens, I will use my great magical power to rule over object and man, day and night, in all of Rokanjima. Oh, hello, Goda. Oh, you're here. It's the 84. You finally arrived. Everyone says that epitaph is a guide to finding hidden treasure. The rumors tell that the master has 10 tons of gold hidden away. Ah, and hello, Canon. Yes, and Beatrice supposedly gave it to him. I've heard that one, too. This ain't objective.
10 tons of gold. That would be incredible. I can hardly even imagine it.
If you had all that, what would you use it for? I'd like to touch it. Just once. Ha 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 ha! Forget touching it. I'd like to spend it all.
But why would he go out of his way to display this epitaph? This code showing the hiding place of the gold.
This scene doesn't mean that Goda's an accomplice, right? I'd like to think it's not just all the servants, you know? It's obvious. He's laughing at everyone since he thinks no one can solve it. It's a challenge to the rest of us, isn't it? Goda's not even... Goda's... Okay. Goda's replying to Shannon there. He wants to know if there's anyone here wise enough to solve it.
It seems that the master doesn't intend to let Kraus take the headship easily. Perhaps the one who solves this will become his successor.
Oh, hello, Eva. Are we at the family conference now, or just in 84 randomly? Genji, what is this? Could this be a portrait of Beatrice? The Beatrice? Correct. This is Beatrice. What on earth? There's a strange little poem-like thing over here. I don't know who's talking. What's this all about? It's almost like a pirate code that shows the way to hidden treasure. Genji, what does this mean? That might have been Hideyoshi. The master said to read and interpret it as you wish. That the riddle applies equally to all who can see the epitaph. You said riddle just now, didn't you? That means this can be solved. Yes, that's it. Father doesn't want Kraus to succeed him. So, whoever solves this will become the successor. Finally. The tables have finally turned. Oh, this is Eva. And I now have a real chance to become the head. I was thinking it's Beatrice, but nope, it's Eva. Close in terms of what voices I gave them, also the city. Hello, Rudolph and Kyrie. What do you think, Kyrie? I think it's extremely likely that this epitaph points to the location of the hidden gold. People always figure out shit in this restaurant. What is that? Looks like Sis thinks the one who solves it will be chosen as the successor. That's another theory that might fit. Father certainly doesn't view Kraus as an ideal successor. This might be a huge trick he's set up now that he's reaching the end of his years. So, if you really solve this riddle, you stand to gain 10 tons of gold and the position of successor. On the surface, perhaps. However, I'm sensing some malice, so he doesn't think anyone capable of solving it. Gotta move my pop filter. I doubt he made it to be solved easily. True. Guess we won't have trouble looking for something to do over a drink for a while now. Where is this? Oh, it's Rosa's house. Ridiculous. How could anyone solve this? Rosa tossed aside a notepad with the epitaph written on it and flopped over onto the sofa. Solving this means 10 tons of gold. With that much, I'd never need to worry about schemes for cash again. If I had money, I could pay off my debts, and that man might come back to me. I know where Father's beloved hometown is. And the Sweetfish River. There are many rivers there. What's the village supposed to be? I don't have a clue. What's wrong, Mama? Maria looked concerned. Kids are really good at riddles, so maybe. Hey, Maria, do you think you know the answer to this riddle? Maria gazed at the paper with the epitaph on it as though she was trying to bore through it with her eyes. Her eyes opened wider and wider. What do you think, Maria? I guess it might be a bit too hard for you. Oh, great.
This is a witch's ceremony. A resurrection ceremony for Bato. Where'd you get this? Hey Mama, where'd you get this? I'm gonna ask Bato. I'm sure the ceremony will let Bato regain her full power. She'll be able to appear in front of everyone and do miracles of magic without having to worry about the anti-magic toxin anymore.
Then Rosa beats her up, as she do. And the epitaph. Seems the family members are all competing to solve the riddle. Humph. Good. Let everyone try, and none will solve it, except for the one blessed by a miracle. If I let my guard down, even I might forget the process. That is how difficult it is. Because it is difficult, solving it will bring about a miracle. Precisely. This miracle shall be the last one I desire in my life. I'd imagine the epitaph's probably easier to solve if you speak Japanese and read it in Japanese. Like, I get the feeling that... I remember in the third game, when Eva solved it, there was... like, she went to the library saying something about sweetfish. So maybe the kanji for sweetfish also means the kanji for something else. So, I have no idea. My final bit of magic. When a miracle comes and allows one to solve that complicated epitaph, it will surely mean Beatrice's resurrection. Oh, Beatrice, I just want to see your face one more time. I don't need wealth or honor anymore. If I could only meet you one more time. This would be the last bit of magic that Kinzo, who realized he was facing his last years, would ever use. He was betting everything that Beatrice had given him. hoping to meet her just one more time after being separated by death through 2 generations. His meeting with Beatrice that day had been the true beginning of his life, and even with them gone, Kinzo had remained there alone on the stage that had gone dark. The aged monarch had obtained everything, accomplished everything, but this was the one element that had always slipped through his fingers, no matter how much he struggled. If he could just have that element, he would need nothing else in life. In the end, perhaps his whole life was just a journey to learn. That one single element makes up all that it means to be human. My friend, will my life's final bit of magic show me a miracle? For a while, Genji was silent. He wasn't at a loss for words or struggling to find an answer. During that silence, something had passed between the two men, who had known each other for so long that their friendship surpassed that of master and servant. No, that will do. No one will solve it. That's why a miracle will occur. Master, please, tell me one thing. What is it? If I ask you, if a miracle does occur. It may have been different during his youth, but in his old age, Genji rarely spoke of dreams and what-ifs. When Genji said if, Kinzo quietly waited for the words of the man he called a friend. If a miracle does occur, if your magic comes true, and Beatrice does revive, what will you do? As the one closest to Kinzo, Genji obviously knew of the crazed feelings with which Kinzo had searched for Beatrice in the past. And yet, Genji was asking what Kinzo would do if Beatrice did revive. Master, at one time in the past, you experienced the miracle of Beatrice being reborn. If that miracle happened again, what would you do? My friend. So after all, you do blame me. I have no way of knowing everything in your heart and Beatrice's. However, I believe I do understand at least part of the way in which Beatrice adored you. I lament the fact. You may not believe it, but as I have aged, I have come to regret all of it. If a miracle does occur, and Beatrice revives, then of course I do not care if she knows nothing of the time she spent with me in the past. No, as long as she is Beatrice, I don't care who it is. I just want to apologize. Is that truly how you feel? Yes, my friend. I regret it. How deeply I regret those mistakes made in youth. You have aged as well, so you must know. One cannot feel guilt for the sins of their youth when one is still young. However, like deep thorns, they began to fester, torturing me. I, Ushiromiya Kinzo, no longer care how I die. However, this thorn, this regret, is the one account I must settle. I will return everything to Beatrice, and I will ask her to forgive me for my sins. For that is my only and final wish. Oh. Kinzo covered his eyes and sobbed. The aged monarch, who had built up great wealth in a single generation, was reaching the end of his life, and he could do nothing but sob because he wanted someone to apologize to. Wasn't the epitaph a trial grandfather made to choose the successor? I thought that too at first, but it looks like the situation's a bit different. At this point in time, I also thought it was a trial, that it was a game for selecting the successor, which Ushiromiya Kinzo decided upon on a whim. And it wasn't? This epitaph meant something for Ushiromiya Kinzo and Runoe Genji that only the two of them could understand. So this was not the workings of fate. It was inevitable. I was no more than a Cinderella, with the pumpkin carriage and glass slippers all prepared beforehand. I get it. So this was a farce that Kinzo and Genji set up. Kinzo did understand, And Genji realized that this was a message. Okay, I guess I can kind of see. I just realized something. With the Rosa theory. About how Maria came to know Beatrice. However, I think she'd recognize her own mother's face. Because even if you can throw on a wig, change your clothes, do a little bit of makeup, it's just like, no. You can't change your face. I don't have a clue what you mean. What did Grandfather understand? And what does Genji have to do with this epitaph? And then again with the Rosa theory. Who the heck is Leon? The epitaph wasn't solved. Someone was made to solve it. And then Beatrice truly revived. If that revival had never happened, then 1986 would still have come. But the incident might have been completely different. And so, since the time of my birth, I've been trapped by the crossroads of fate, never given the right to make any decisions of my own will. Oh, I am one yet many, and yet we have never been able to resist fate. We are little more than leaves caught in a whirlpool. No matter how we dance, we must eventually be sucked in and disappear. Is that already the end of that 8th chapter then? No? It rarely tends to go to the stage without ending a chapter. Okay, so it's not.
Gap's the one who specializes in instant movement. She's the 33rd in rank of the Great Demons. It must be really incredible to have a friend like that, Bato.
I see, the Great Demon Gap. Very well, my friend. You will now be Gap. You may call yourself by that name.
Wait, she was nameless this whole time?
Oh, wonderful. So you've finally given me a name. It's a relief after being nameless so long. Oh, and there's Ronove. In that case, I'd be honored to receive a name as well. Being nothing more than the head furniture lacks flavor, does it not? Maria, I need a name for this guy too. He is also a great demon and serves as my butler. He's a subordinate whom I can trust.
Ronove, I guess. The 27th ranked of the Great Demons. It said he'll give you reliable underlings.
My, what a coincidence. The family name of my double, Genji, is Renoe.
So, again, who is Gap's double? I'd assume in reality, right now, this is... Like, this doesn't actually have to be a scene that's happening in reality, but I'm gonna assume that this one in particular is. It's Maria talking to Shannon Cannon Yasu Beatrice as Beatrice then. And then there's Genji nearby, and he got the name Ronove. Just because, I suppose. And then, Gap. Who in the fucky is Gap? Gap has to be a separate, distinct person. It's not Nanjo, is it? That'd be so weird. Movement. I still think it'd be Eva, but I don't know.
Oh, that truly is a coincidence. I see, it seems this is the best possible name for you. Very well, you shall now be known as Ronove. Oh, how pleasant it is to be called by one's name. I thank you for this wonderful name, Lady Maria.
So Maria named Gap and Ronove. Just as a form can be a vessel, a name can be a powerful vessel too. For unknown creatures of the other world, simply gaining a name can greatly increase their magical power. That's why names are important.
I feel like my Maria voice is a little fucked up right now too. True, names are important and wonderful. Right, Ria? You can call me Gap now, okay?
Okay, and there's Virgilia, who is Kumasawa.
Gap. A splendid name, I will remember it. And I'll ask you to stop shortening my precious name. Poo-coo-coo-coo-coo. So you're Virgilia, the one who guides travelers to Beatrice. That is also a splendid name. Perfect for Milady's teacher. Yes, I do like it a lot. A name is a life. Maria, thanks to you, my friends have found names. I am deeply grateful.
Oh! Now it's your turn, Bato. Draw pictures of my bunny friends, like you did for Sakutaro.
Oh, and then the Chiester sisters. Very well. Lend me that grimoire. Oh, hello, Sakutaro. You appeared just randomly, it seems.
Ooh, Bato's drawings are really great. I can't wait to see. What'll it be like? What'll it be like? I can't wait to see the bunnies. Oh!
They were in a forest band, were they not? A band. A band? Yes, something like... All of a sudden, Maria was no longer a little girl who did nothing but follow her mother around, laughing or crying. Though she is still young, she already has a powerful self-image, and possesses enough knowledge of the magical world to surprise even me. Together, we called ourselves Mariage Sorcière, and made each other's magical worlds deeper and richer. So, a name can become a powerful vessel. How profound.
It's very important to have a form for a vessel, but a name is just as important.
Indeed. Those with names leave a greater impression than those without.
It's not just about forms and names. By knowing more and more about them, you can make them exist much more strongly. I'll think of lots of stuff for you.
Did you do this for Sakutaro as well?
Yep. Sakutaro isn't just a name. There's a lot more to him than that.
He's a lion cub, correct?
Sakutaro's a Vegeta lion, so he doesn't eat meat.
A Vegeta lion? Or a Vegeta lion? But
everyone else thinks he does, and they're scared of him.
I was gonna make a Dragon Ball Z joke, but I never watched it, so oops.
But Sakutaro's also a scaredy cat, so he's just as scared as the others. Sakutaro's such a coward. Ooh, I don't eat meat. I'm not a scary lion. Oh, look! A flesh-eating sparrow! Flap, flap, flap. Ooh, sparrows are scary.
Bye! Whoosh! Oh shit, I missed the joke again! Sparrows don't eat meat. Do they not eat rats? Or sparrows. Okay. Sparrows aren't that big, I don't think.
Sakutaro's a coward, so he thinks they do. Did the sparrow go away? Ryu?
Sakutaro is Nanjo. There we go. Oh, I fell again. Damn it.
You're such a scaredy cat, Sakutaro. If you keep this up, Sakusuke and Sakukichi will start making fun of you again, right?
Sakusuke and Sakukichi? Hooties.
Ryu, I'm not a scaredy cat.
I don't remember what my voice for him was. He has not talked, like, much at all in Answers Arc.
Ah, the sparrow's back. Flap, flap, flap. No, I'll be eaten.
Bye again. Whoosh. I missed the joke. This is such an interesting scene. Who's talk? I'm gonna assume Beatrice. Sakutaro was quite entertaining. Then are Sakusuke and Sakukichi his siblings?
Yep. There's little brothers waiting for him at home. Sakusuke is a lot more reliable than Sakutaro, and Sakukichi is so skillful he can do anything. But they're all really good friends. They all play together on my bed.
Your bed must be covered with lions.
Yep. So I call my bed Lionland. But there's lots of other animals too. Oh!
Lionland, is it? It sounds like fun. By interacting together, all of Maria's friends can reinforce their own existence. It's a magnificent world. I guess that means we should work on deepening our relationships as well. By strengthening our bonds, our existence and magical power will grow stronger and stronger. Let's expand our world more and more. From what I've heard, Maria's world has far more than just Sakutaro and the bunnies. We can't let her beat us. My. In that case, shall we find more minions for ourselves? It's no fun with just the gold butterflies. After all, they cannot speak. I'd like some chatty minions who can talk, jump around, and fight with each other. True, of course it would be better to spice things up around here. Here in Mariage Sorcière, we have learned how to expand our worlds and create new minions. By now, you may create new minions as often as your imagination allows. Lady, what about those? Could you make vessels of those dark tools you found when cleaning out Goldsmith's storage room? Dark tools, huh? So the stakes or the guns? Oh, perfect! Minions created from dark-looking vessels like that will surely be fitting for me. There will be more and more of us, and it will get very lively here. I'd imagine it's the stakes.
Oh, we'll get more and more new friends! That's my magic! And Beto can take my friends and give them a form. You can make them grow.
You create them, and I grow them. Indeed. That's Mariade Sorcière for you. Still, bunny ears are pretty hard. Might take some time before the bunnies manifest themselves. Be sure you make them cute. But of course, this is where I get to show my skill. So, does Shannon Canyon Yasu Beatrice know how to draw? Seems we are one and the same. Who the hell are you? Bufudine. Adios, bitches. Create a creature, give it a name, give it a form. Doing that is no different from giving birth to new life. When a human gives birth to a child, they give it a form, give it a name to identify it by, and deepen its character by raising it in the world. Mariade Sorcière is doing exactly the same thing. So Mariade Sorcière is the Fukuin house! No. In our world, we can create whatever creatures we think of, give them forms, give them names, and make them friends we can interact with. We were engrossed with our game in this world called Mariade Sorcière. At least, Maria was engrossed. She would badger me to play this game every time she came. And of course, I was too. However, when Maria started happily writing something and I just sat there for a while, I must admit that I sighed and looked up at the sky, making sure she didn't notice. It's fun to increase the numbers of our minions. They make things lively, so I do not tire of it. I may have tired of my minions alone, but even that problem goes away when I can interact with Maria's as well. It takes 2 people to create a universe. I now have that second person, so I am satisfied. I think I'm satisfied. And yet, one little part of me is not. It truly is a tiny part. After all, it's so much fun playing with Maria that time seems to fly on by. But even so, when I look up at the sky, during those short moments, I feel an empty feeling I can't describe. I know. My universe is not complete. My apologies to Maria, but she is not the second person I want to create a universe with. No matter how much I nurture my world with her, the roots of love in my heart leave gaps. Battler then, right? 4 years have already passed since that day, yep. He left saying he'd come for me riding a white horse, and I was the only one without a letter. He even said that he probably wouldn't be returning to Rokanjima. Oh yeah, and the sin, like, how does that relate to Rosa? Is this love? I always believed that love was so much sweeter, so much more intoxicating. Okay, Sato. But now, I don't know anymore. Though I long for him so much it's maddening, I can sometimes feel hatred underneath. However, even that hatred is wrapped in adoration. The roots of love had remained in the corners of my heart all this time. At some point, I gave up hoping that Battler would return. However, the roots of love stayed right where they were. In other words, even 4 years later, I still believe. He will come back someday. The flower of my love is curled up and withered as though against the winter cold. However, the root is still alive, and it is always waiting for him to return. Waiting for a chance to bloom beautifully again. I'm grateful to Maria. Mariade Sorcière has eased the burden on my heart so much. If we hadn't met like this, I may have withered away along with that root. Even this incomplete universe is necessary for me to remain alive now. I must live on until I can create my complete universe. Until that day, I will not be complete. Though I have a form and a name, no matter how deep my world grows, I will not be complete. I see. So I was right, this is something happening in reality. I am not complete. Bato? I accidentally muttered what I had been thinking. Maria stopped talking to Sakutaro. I regretted that my slip of the tongue had ruined this fun time. But there was a long silence before I could smooth it over. I laughed, but it probably sounded hollow. Maria, not knowing why my face had suddenly changed like this, looked taken aback. What is a universe in this reality? Just like a bond? Though my minions will each deepen this world and their own existences, becoming full, I alone will never be complete. I know why I will not be complete.
It's because you don't have enough magical power.
Maria answered instantly. Beatrice has lost her magical power and is unable to regain the strength she once had. Hold on, there we go. That's how the story goes. So Maria's answer was correct. That's right. I may be incomplete because I have lost my magical power. In that case, if my power becomes complete, and I revive in the truest sense, will my world become complete as well? Does that mean that the person I want to nourish the universe with will come back? Alright. If, as I claim, I really was able to control miracles at will in the past with my magic, then if I succeed in reviving, would that miracle definitely occur? If such a thing were possible, I'd want true magical power to use for my resurrection. I think I came to a realization. Magic is love, right? Like, whenever they refer to magic, magic is love. Like, even with the crimes, just like, it's a crime that was done through magic. No, it was one done through love. Which is still fucked up, but whatever. That's right. It's because I do not possess enough magical power.
Poor Bato. It must be pretty inconvenient with your magical power still weak.
I want to get it back. Quickly. My old power. Her old love.
I guess you have to do that, then.
What do you mean by that?
Murder my whole family.
Oh, okay. Why?
The ceremony of resurrection. The ceremony of the portrait's epitaph.
If you read that epitaph literally, it does sound like a witch's resurrection ceremony. To Maria, who believes in witches, that epitaph must be a ceremony in itself. Unlike the other family members, it seems that she's not very interested in the location of the hidden gold. If that epitaph's riddle is solved, one might learn the location where Kinzo hid all the gold I once gave him.
That's the gold you created with magic, right?
Indeed. A crystallization of the great magic I possessed in those days. I think in that case, that's just referring to actual magic. Because it's like, a crystallization of the great love I possessed in those days. Because this Beatrice didn't give Kinzo the gold. Hell, the first Beatrice didn't give Kinzo the gold.
In that case, if you get that gold back, your magical power will go back to normal.
Perhaps.
It will. Ew. It's gotta be your resurrection ceremony. I'll help, so let's solve it together. Then you'll revive. And when you do, you'll take me to your golden land.
That's right. I did promise that I would take you to the Golden Land. What even is the Golden Land? Just where the gold is? Or does that mean something else?
You said that all wishes are granted there. There's no black witch there, just a nice mama. And it might even meet the papa I've never seen before. Of course, there won't be any school or homework or bullying friends, and we can live happily ever after. Hey Sakataro, doesn't that sound fun? Oh yeah!
The epitaph of the portrait. So, must I face the epitaph's riddle after all? If Kinzo's children struggled uselessly over it, how could a complete stranger like me solve it? That's interesting. It says Kinzo's children, so it's like, so this ain't Rosa. But at the same time, Shannon slash Canon slash Yasu slash Beatrice is also Kinzo's kid, so like... Huh. If I did happen to solve it, that would surely be a miracle. Will doing that bring about another miracle and return my miraculous power to me? I don't know. In the mansion. Behold the Sweetfish River running through my beloved hometown. You who seek the Golden Land, follow its path downstream in search of the key. Still not sure what any of this means. So, am I to travel down a river in Kinzo's homeland in search of a key? I'm pretty sure the homeland refers to Rokonjima. That's all I know. And then there's like an underground passage through a building that's outside, which is either the chapel or the gardening shed, but it could also be the guest house or part of the mansion. I don't even know. As you travel down the river, you will see a village. And the village... Okay, you travel down the river, you see a village. If you start in the hometown, that's Rokonjima, travel down the river. I don't think there is a river. You will see a village. Is that the military base? Because there's probably still remnants of that there. Granted, that's actually the path to... Ooh. Maybe you have to go to where the submarine was. I don't know. In that village, look for the shore the two will tell you of. The shore. It must be that. There sleeps the key to the Golden Land. But wait, we didn't even know that was a military... Was it even alluded to that there was originally a military base on Rokonjima in Questions Arc? I don't remember. The key to the Golden Land. There may be villages if you go down a river, but what is this shore the two will tell you of? The one who obtains the key must then travel to the Golden Land in accordance with these rules. So those who do not have the key need not read the rest. I do not understand it, but that's how this riddle is. It's practically unsolvable, so solving it would be a miracle. That much makes sense. I felt a stabbing pain in my body. The anti-magic toxin had burned my skin. Some human is probably approaching. I erased my form. Multiple sets of footsteps approached. It was Genji, Shannon, and Cannon too. Interesting. It seems everyone is engrossed with solving the epitaph's riddle. Yes. I heard that even some of the servants have copied it down and taken it home with them.
If you solve this riddle, will you really find 10 tons of gold?
Indeed. There can be no doubt of that. I don't understand. The puzzle may be a tough one, but why is the master showing the location of his precious gold in a place where everyone can see? That is the master's magic, and also a bet. The master believes that the one who solves this difficult riddle will contain Beatrice's soul within them.
That's strange. That's a strange bet. Magic.
Looks like he's taken his occult fanaticism as far as it could possibly go.
Shh! You shouldn't say that!
All are allowed to try and solve the epitaph's riddle. Of course, the servants are no exceptions. Will you try to solve it?
No. I could never solve such a hard riddle. In any way.
And?
Even if I had 10 tons of gold, I can't think of anything in particular I'd want to use it for. I'd be more than happy if these peaceful days continued forever.
Looks like you and George have been pretty close these days. I just hope being distracted doesn't make you even more of a klutz.
That won't happen.
With a backward glance at this conversation, Genji walked up to the portrait and looked up at the witch. When they saw what Genji was doing, Shannon and Cannon immediately went silent. Genji, who was the head of the servants, the closest in age to Kinzo, and the one whom Kinzo called a friend, probably understood Kinzo's heart better than anyone else. What did he think when he looked at this portrait? Neither Shannon nor Cannon could tell. Behold the Sweetfish River running through my beloved hometown. Suddenly, Genji started reciting the epitaph. Shannon quickly nodded to show that she was listening, but it wasn't clear whether he was talking to her at all. Genji, his back still to them, continued. The master would not describe Odawara as his beloved hometown. I've heard that he lived far away.
Though we don't know where it was.
Taiwan. Taiwan? Genji turned around and spoke that single word. He lived in Taiwan.
Oh, is that so?
I see, so that explains what Kraus always used to say. Remember him talking about how the master liked the Rekka nuts? Oh, really? That was that important? The scene where Kraus and Natsuhi went to They did go to Taiwan, didn't they?
Come to think of it, Crow said that those two were a luxury item, like tobacco, that was popular in Taiwan. So that's why the master...
So Taiwan is his... Really? Taiwan's the beloved hometown? The gold is on Rokanjima. That much is obvious. Sweetfish River. So, like, the Sea of Japan? That's not a river, though. I mean, I suppose you could bullshit that it is. Does it flow? In the half-century before the war, Taiwan was under the rule of Japan. Many Japanese had moved there, seeking a new frontier. Kinzo's family was a branch family of the Ushiromiyas. Apparently, they were only distantly related to the head family, so they were able to form a new life and a new future without being constrained by the head family in Odawara. Shannon and Cannon nodded their understanding, but they didn't know why Genji had suddenly broached the subject.
So, there was a river with the sweet fish in it in the master's hometown in Taiwan, and the key is there?
Don't be so stupid. There has to be several rivers with sweet fish in the area.
We don't know that for sure, right? I don't know where the master lived in Taiwan, but there might have only been one river there. If so, that must be the place.
You're too optimistic. There's no way the riddle could be solved that easily. The master says this magical ceremony will gain more power if more people try to solve the riddle. You must try as well. Everyone has been given the same chance.
Yes.
As if we had a chance. This is pointless. Genji spun around. Shannon and Cannon hurried to follow after him. When his footsteps receded and silence returned, a gold butterfly flitted out from among the shadows. Taiwan, is it? Oh, so he lived quite far away. Behold the Sweetfish River running through my beloved hometown. In other words, a Sweetfish River running through Taiwan. There are many rivers in Taiwan. Cannon was right. How ridiculous. However, the word Taiwan interests me. The taciturn Genji muttered it without anyone asking. Wait, that taciturn Genji muttered it without anyone asking. So is it even possible that it means nothing? Clearly, Genji's saying it has something to do with the epitaph's riddle. What's the kanji for Taiwan, and does it have an alternative meaning? It's almost as though that was a hint for solving it. It might just mean remote island. Because if that's the case, it could still also refer to Rokanjima. Though I do find it stupid. Very well, Genji. Why don't I play along with your farce for a while? Taiwan. I've traveled the world at times during these past 1,000 years, but I know nothing of the place. To counter my ignorance, I shall need a crystallization of knowledge. That which is smoothed out and pressed into many sheets. What is called a book? Where might I find a book about Taiwan? Ah. Kinzo's study is the first place that comes to mind if one is looking for books. But that won't work. The charm on that room prevents me from entering. So, the library, is it? Yep. So there's something in the library on Taiwan. So that's what Eva realized about Sweetfish? Kinzo's vast collection of books grows each year. The books that don't fit in his study are sorted in a book storage room that we usually call the library. Of course, there are countless books just in this place. Some of them are out of place. You gotta put them in the proper slots to open new doors so you can get to the top part of the entrance hall. The library has everything from valuable books to apparently worthless books, all packed together like an antique shop. There was a golden glint in the keyhole of the library's door, and a gold butterfly flitted out. Alright, now where's that green trinity? Stinky as ever, I see. Dust. Mold. I see, so this is the stench of knowledge. Well now, how can I find a book on Taiwan amongst all this? The prospect is almost dizzying. However, I realized right away, if I wanted to quickly find out about Taiwanese rivers, I didn't want a book on Taiwan. An atlas. There must be one of those somewhere around here. Wait! Eva was also searching for an atlas, wasn't she? Search, my butterfly minions! Find the book I seek in this dusty, noble graveyard of knowledge. A cloud of countless gold butterflies appeared at my feet. They swayed, blew like the wind, and coiled themselves around the library. Eventually, the cloud of butterflies selected a single book. It seems that this is the one. Is this the spot? Hello, Taiwan. Well done. A word atlas. World Atlas, Asia volume. Perfect. It was a grand, thick, illustrated encyclopedia of maps, several volumes long. There was even a thick section on Taiwan. This should be plenty useful. Taiwan? 394 kilometers north to south, 144 kilometers east to west, an area of roughly 36,000 square kilometers. Oh, that's pretty large. By area, that's about the same size as Kyushu in Japan. That's the one that Hoenn is based off, right? This led Battler to a very natural question. Just where on this massive island did Kinzo live? Genji mentioned Taiwan, but that's all. How careless I've been. All I remember is that, like, the Japanese word for sweet fish is ayu, right? You called? I did not call. In fact, I did not. I would never call for you, Ayumi. Battler had vaguely assumed that the riddle would be solved in a flash if she could just look at a map of Taiwan. However, Taiwan is no small place. Just which part of this large island did Kinzo call his beloved hometown? I kept looking through books in this dusty library, sometimes having to cough, and I was not happy with being stuck in a place like this. So, the largest city is Taipei. It says here that Japanese people used to live in a spot called Taisho. So, is that where Kinzo lived? No, it's too early to be sure if that's without proof. I'll skip to the next part before I settle on anything more specific than just Taiwan itself. A Sweetfish River running through the hometown. What's this? There are 129 rivers in Taiwan. 129 rivers! And how many of those have sweetfish swimming in them? Just thinking about it is dizzying. 132 of them do. What the... It was quickly becoming ridiculous. Genji must have been muttering nonsense to himself after all. I only thought he was giving out a hint about the epitaph. So the reward for the fool blinded by gold is dust. Nice one, Genji. I tossed the book aside, used magic to turn a bookshelf into a sofa, and plopped down on top of it. For a while, I grumbled about getting tricked and looked up at the ceiling. I was annoyed, so I felt like gathering all this room's dust, packing it into a ball, and tossing it into Genji's teacup. So I glanced down at the floor. The book I had thrown away lay open on the ground. A gold butterfly was resting on that open page. Tossing a book at random and reading an oracle from the page it happens to open to is a kind of ritual. I see, so that page might have some sort of hint. Not entirely convinced, I picked the book up. The open page was probably very near to one I had been reading. Apparently it was a page explaining Taiwan's geography. Oddly enough, it was a page about rivers and lakes. I already know that there are 129 rivers. Is there something else you're trying to tell me? There were 6 major rivers listed. Zuo Shui River, Kaoping River, Dan Shui River, Dajia River, Zengguan River, Dadu River. Oh. Now then, which of these rivers might have sweetfish in them? An idea came to me then. Sweetfish are freshwater fish. And you don't find ocean water in rivers. Yeah? Unless it's extremely dirty or blocked by a dam, any river might have sweetfish in it. How foolish. All rivers have fresh water in them. What's stopping sweetfish from living in any river? Come to think of it, what a foolish name this Danshui River has. Freshwater river? What sort of river isn't a freshwater river? It would only make sense to name a river after what's in it, if it were literally anything else. Danshui River flows from Taipei to the harbor town of Danshui. I see. It isn't called that because of the water in it, but because of the town at its mouth. As you travel down the river, you will see a village. In that village, look for the shore the 2 will tell you of. I realize that this is stupid. And yet there's something about this town. Behold the Sweetfish River running through my beloved hometown. That line should be talking about one of the 129 rivers. Sweetfish are freshwater fish. And here's this freshwater river flowing down to a town called Freshwater. It's like a strange, trivial word game. Or could it be some kind of code? I've been looking for books here so long that the dust is piling up on me. If I give up now, it will all have been a waste of time. Dog bark. Very well. Why don't I test my luck and see if the random page the book opened to contains an oracle? How did Erica figure this out? I turn to the next page, trying to search in even greater detail. To me, solving this riddle was like a game. One that all of the servants were engrossed in. I was just trying to be one of that group. For quite some time, I had suffered from a lack of books I could find particularly absorbing. And I was very bored. So I took that book back with me to my own room and looked through it every night. There's a hint for the epitaph's riddle in an atlas? In the third game, Eva solved the riddle after reading a book in the book archive. Then in the fifth game, Fruto Erica looked for an atlas in that room before solving the riddle herself. Oh, Erica looked for an atlas. Eva didn't. Then there really is some secret in a map of Taiwan. I believe that the Sweetfish River part was a code for Danshui River. Every day I researched the surrounding geography in detail. Of course, I also looked up several small streams that might have sweetfish in them. However, that didn't get me anywhere. According to some information from a previous game, we weren't looking for an actual river. But it is something that flows. That's how Eva interpreted it. So, it isn't a river? Correct. In the end, Danshui River had nothing to do with it. However, now that I think about it, it must have been an oracle after all. The river itself was unrelated, but it was still a great hint. The river was unrelated, but it was still a hint? Calm down and think. Think of something that flows, but isn't a river. Got it. A flowchart. What? A canal? Like, does electric flow? Just go with the flow, man. Life. What does flow even mean? Like Progressive car insurance? Is that what we're talking about here? Flo from Progressive knows where the gold is. Hey, Flo, tell me where the gold is. What do you even sound like? Like, I can't do a voice for you because I don't know what you sound like. So, something other than water that flows? What can you think of? Try and think outside the box. Well, I'm tired of all this puzzle solving. Stop being annoying and give us the answer. You solved the epitaph, right? Probably. Something other than water that flows. Other than water. So it ain't a canal. Does electricity flow? Wait. I seem to remember something about sweetfish having something to do with electricity. Something... Methods of transportation? Wait, yo, what? What the fuck flows? A boat? A train? Like a road or a highway? How does a road or highway flow? Correct. It took me so long to realize that the Sweetfish River did not refer to water itself. That's right. There's something other than a river with the name Danshui. Something that both people and things flow up and down. Okay. Really? That's what you mean by flow? So it had nothing to do with Progressive. I thought I was onto something. Up and down? You mean... That's it. An elevator. Railroads. So a train. The Danshui Line. It's a railway that goes from Taipei to Danshui Harbor. Then what is the Sweetfish? It was constructed in 1901 while Taiwan was under Japanese rule. Afterwards, the number of stations continued to grow and it became a major artery into Taipei. You're supposed to be able to figure this shit out before starting Answers Arc. What? This railroad was used after the war as well, and is still in common use as the Danshui line of the Taipei Rapid Transit System. Its route begins at Taipei Station and continues on until the town of Danshui. Station. Station, formerly Station. 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 Blah 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 station. Formerly blah 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 station. Bunga station. Station. Formerly. What did the epitaph say you'd see if you went down the river? A village. There's only one station on the Danshui line with the character for village in its name, and it's this station. Station, formerly station. How do you read this? The Japanese pronounce it Kirigan. Its name was changed to Sekihai Station after the war, but when Kinzo lived there, it was Kirigan Station. As you travel down the river, you will see a village. In that village, look for the shore that 2 will tell you of. Isn't the only one. You can also see the character for shore. In the end, it took me quite a long time to work out that the station was the one referred to. It's the character for village and the character for shore. It felt like a kid's riddle, playing with letters. The first character in Kirigan has the character for mouth, and the other half of that first character means the word that, right? That village is shore, and the mouth is telling of it. But I don't get what the 2 means. That was probably Leon then. The 3 characters of Kirigan can be split into a mouth, a village, and a shore. Those are all words that appear in the epitaph. In that village, look for the shore the 2 will tell you of. You can read it as a code for the name of the station. However, I don't understand the part about the 2. I was also stuck on that part. However, by then, I was very confident that the station was what the epitaph referred to. If the station was once known by a different name, then could some local spot have also had its name changed? That's right. Kirigan Station was named after a nearby location, after all. And though the name of that area was also Kirigan, it was written differently. Okay. Whoa! I see! Ah, there are 2 mouths! Okay. So yeah, the epitaph is easier to solve if you speak Japanese. It didn't take much investigation before it was clear. The epitaph must have been referring to this place called Kirigan. Then, is this where the key to the Golden Land rests? That would be the obvious answer. However, I couldn't make the long trip to Taiwan to check. And of course, the place known as Kirigan is quite large itself. If a tiny key was hidden somewhere there, I'd never find it. I was at a loss. And she didn't give up. I was certain that I had found the answer, at least to the first 5 lines of the epitaph. In my eyes, it truly was an entertaining game. No, a mystery. I almost gave up then. However, there was no doubt that I had the key in my hand. So I decided to travel to the Golden Land in accordance with the epitaph. On the first twilight, offer the 6 chosen by the key as sacrifices. We can tell by this line that the key refers to 6 things. Reasoning makes it possible to see that this couldn't refer to a physical key. 6 things? Yes, 6 things. I was merely a thick-headed human. I decided to look through books for anything related to the number 6. 6. 666. The devil! The location of the key called Kirigan was hidden by a word game. That meant the 6 things were surely connected to some sort of word game too. 6! 666. I kept searching for 6. Can you stop saying 6? Is there some way to split up the characters in Kirigan to get 6? Good idea. Still, no matter how much you stare at those 3 characters, you won't get an answer. The problem here is that Kirigan is just a Japanese reading of the name. Then how did they pronounce it there? Oh! Quirion! It's pronounced Quilion. When written in Roman characters, that's 6 letters long. 6 letters! Then it is a word game after all! This is what it means by the 6 chosen by the key. So what does Kilion have to do with anything? I get it. Talking about it like this, it sounds like a line of reasoning that can be reached in a second. However, it took a long time before I reached this spot on my own. A dizzying number of nights passed from the time Genji uttered that single word to the time I got this far. So, what does it mean to offer these 6 letters as sacrifices? On the second twilight, we start hearing about those who remain. So there are other letters. Reasoning opens up the possibility that the 6 letters of the key are being removed from an even larger set of letters. Then what word has all the letters in Kilion in it as well as more? I can't think of any words that start with Q other than quilt and quill. However, what could the 6 letters be removed from? That puzzle worried me for a long time. It's like the start of an entirely new riddle. This time I would have to solve it all by myself without any assistance. In a previous game, I'm pretty sure Aunt Rosa formed some sort of theory about the first Twilight. Yeah, that was the 5th or 6th game. Right, that theory about a 10-day journey ending at the 10th Twilight. On the 10th Twilight, at Journey's End, you shall attain to the power of the Golden Land's treasures, once and for the last time. She took that section to be a literal trip that ends when you attain to or reach the treasures of the Golden Land. What meaning was there in those words? Realizing that there was something to be found, and then realizing that something actually was, took another long stretch of time. By Rosa's reasoning, attain to meant reaching some physical location represented by the 4 treasures. It was a good try, but not quite right. It's not the treasures we're supposed to reach, but their power. Somehow you gotta get to fucking Rokanjima, don't you? Rokanjima has no Q in it. Fuck. Wait, what was its other names? Well, those didn't have Qs either. Akujiki Shima or something? What does it even mean to reach the power of something like that? Don't overthink it. What else can the word power mean? Strength. You reach, or rather, raise yourself to the power of the 4 treasures. Starting at Twilight number 10. And this is done once and for the last time. Oh, so it's an exponent, like a math problem. What? Okay, raise yourself to the power of the 4 treasures starting at 10, and this is done once and for the last time. 10 to the power of 4. I have a calculator. Doop. Alright, 10 to the power of 4 equals 10,000. I don't see a Q. This is done once and for the last time. Okay, multiply it by 1. 10,000. Here, I had a home field advantage since I lived on Rokanjima. There was a hint there that made it easier to think of a certain large number. Okay, come on, man. Rosa is Clair. Rosa's the culprit. Lived on Rokanjima. Granted, Shannon and Cannon don't. They were, well, where is that house that they were? It's just in Nijima, right? A certain large number. In fact, you might say that I actually found the answer before I knew what the question was. What number has a fucking Q in it? Quadrillion. Quadrillion. Is that it? Quillion. Q-U-A-D-R... Wait. Yeah, I... Quadrillion... Yeah, it does. Oh, that's the word. Quadrillion? If you keep making it so complicated, Leon's gonna get a headache. Let's get back to the point. 10 to the 4th power is 10,000. If you reach 10,000 on the 10th Twilight, how far have you gotten by the 1st Twilight? Well, that's just 1/10 of 10,000. 8,000, right? Right. Well, now that gives us a single word. It has nowhere near enough letters. And doesn't match the key at all. So, 1,000 is the word they're going for here. However, the end of the line says you will attain to the power once and for the last time. If we interpret it, this as raising 10 to the 4th power once, and then doing the same thing one final time, we end up with 10 quadrillion. So it is quadrillion. Wait, but if you do it once and for the last time, then what? You don't do it twice in that case. That's 10 quadrillion at the 10th Twilight. Or quadrillion at the 1st Twilight. As Battler guessed in the 5th game, it has 11 letters. Ah. Or should I say, as you guessed. Strangely enough, both words begin with Q. I felt that this just had to be right. Leon took a notepad from a pocket and spelled out quadrillion and quillion. However you pronounce that. Killian. Killion. I don't know. The two words even look similar at a glance. So, Q-U-I-L-I-N. Wait, Killion? I don't know. That's right. It's true that the 6 letters chosen by the key are right there inside quadrillion. So what happens if we take them out? Oh, does it not have to be in order? So you take out Q, U... Wait. Qualion. Quilin. What? Killion. Okay, whatever. There wasn't a U? I'm stupid then. We're left with 5 meaningless letters. Udurlo. Wait. Ooh. Cards? I think I figured it out. It is Dr. Lu. You gotta add an X in there, and then you rearrange it so it makes Luxord. However, the important thing is the number 5. That's the number of Twilights, right? So, you take out the 6. You split apart the 2 who are close. On the 2nd Twilight, so you just have U-D-R-L-O. On the 3rd Twilight, you praise my name. Okay, so you gotta take a bow and go, Udurlo! On the 4th Twilight, it's the head. Head? On the 5th Twilight, it's the chest. On the 6th Twilight, it's the stomach. On the 7th Twilight, it's the knee, and on the 8th, it's the leg. Leg starts with an L, so on the 8th, you take away the L. I don't know. After all, in the next part of the epitaph, the word kill appears 5 times. And then on the 9th Twilight, none shall be left alive. In other words, there should be 5 letters left. Yeah. On top of that, just as Battler guessed in the 1st game, 2 of these letters are close to each other. The D and the R. Those must be the 2 who are close. I figured out that much, but I don't know what you mean by praise my name. Once you reach this spot, the riddle has been practically solved. What? How? Or, put another way, this is as far as you can go with the epitaph alone. Really? You might be able to figure out the answer with a little more wordplay, but you won't be able to activate the device. That's right. Once you know this much, all that remains is to gouge and kill. You had a good idea of where the place was even before you got this far, right? Yes. Some people suspected that the gold was hidden there even before the epitaph appeared. And because of the mysterious phrase that appeared there, it's only natural that I thought the place concealed some secret. What do you mean by the place? The place with the device that opens the door to the Golden Land. A quick-witted person should be able to figure out where the 1st Twilight is by now. Guess I'm slow. Huh? I thought the 1st Twilight was quadrillion, not a place. It's the place where quadrillion is written. Where's quadrillion written? You should know it. Or did you blindly follow Kinzo's orders and never go near it? Never go near it? The VIP room? But they were outside. Oh, don't fucking cliffhanger me! Did you blindly follow Kinzo's orders and never go near it? Where were they not supposed to go near? The Kuidorian? I forgot about the Kuidorian. Could be that. Chapter 9, The Data Witch Revived. Well, this was a longer episode, but I spent the first, like, 20 minutes just talking about random shit, so whatever. Quadrillion. Okay. I'm confused. But, hey, I'm gonna just end this episode here, then. I think we're close to figuring out the answer to the epitaph. The confusing part's done, but there's still confusing parts. So, the confusing part isn't done, but at least we got a start going, assuming this is the answer. So, woo. So that's gonna be it for this episode, guys. If you liked it, be sure to press the like button, and if you didn't like it, then fuck you too. Remember to subscribe, follow me on Twitter, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date on all my videos and stuff. And as always, my name is Godzi, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye!